at the Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. 52nd Annual Bayou Classic right here on NBC. Southern and Grambling State continue their epic rivalry. And here come the Southern Jaguars. Welcome upstairs to the booth alongside Anthony Herron. I'm Chris Lewis, and as always, thrilled to be here at the Bayou Classic. Grew up watching this game on NBC. This is the 35th on this network. From everything this weekend provides, the fans, the bands, the music, the culture, can't get enough. Always a highlight.
No doubt, man. If you need to recover from any kind of tryptophan symptoms, make sure you are tuned in, locked and loaded today. Both these teams, it's a tradition that is invited. They are ready for this game.
All right, we're ready for this game, and a Bayou Classic institution is as well. Our sideline reporter, here's Lewis Johnson.
All right, thanks very much. Well, Coach, you took over a team that was 1-6. You're trying to end a long slide of losing games. How do you get that done today?
Well, the biggest thing is we got to execute today. Minimize our mistakes, no turnovers. Special team, we got to be great on special team. These guys are excited about this game today, and I think they're ready to play.
Absolutely. Speaking of excitement, we saw you take your team through the Jags Jack cheer. We'll explain that to everybody later, but after that, how do you get everybody to settle down to get this game started right?
Just calm them down, go in the locker room, just tell them to settle down, get a prayer from Pastor Ellis, and get this thing rolling. It's easy. Those guys are ready to play. They know how this intense this game is going to be.
All right, Coach McNair, thank you and good luck.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Chris?
And it's Fred McNair, the interim head coach for Southern. Now here are the Grambling Tigers. State, led by their coach, Mickey Joseph. It is their best season, most wins since 2019. They've really turned it around. What has caused this turnaround for Grambling State?
Well, Mickey Joseph in year two, one of the things he's really been exceptional at is being able to keep his team on task. They've had 4 different starting quarterbacks so far this year, and yet and still, they are now the first winning record they've had since 2019. So an exceptional accomplishment. On the opposing sideline, though, we just heard from Fred McNair. He knows all about the SWAC, knows all about winning in this conference, but somehow where he was exceptional as a player at Alcorn, exceptional as a coach at Alcorn, now leading Southern in today's game. First time he's been the head coach in the Bayou Classic, so there's a lot on the line today.
2 different stories, but one epic game coming up. For more on the festivities, let's go out to our public address announcer.
To perform, lift every voice and sing, please welcome to the field a special guest from the Blairism, Blair Dotton Haley and the Grambling State University Concert Choir.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join us in celebrating our nation as the colors are proudly presented by the Southern University and Grambling State University Joint Army ROTC Cadet Command. Today's flag holders are representatives from Son of the Saint and the Zulu Social Aid and Pleasure Club. Performing the national anthem for us today is the internationally acclaimed R&B recording artist, Plaquemine, Louisiana native, and Southern University graduate, Justin Garner. Now, to honor America, our veterans, and the brave men and women in uniform, we ask everyone to please rise, remove your hats, and join in the singing of our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting, and there came proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Mic check. Mic check.
50 years of unforgettable moments.
Victorious in the Bayou Classic.
The next chapter of tradition, passion, triumph, and heartbreak. Enjoy a spectacle like none other.
Perfectly phrased by that man, Grambling State legend, former coach, former quarterback Doug Williams. And for their current coach, Mickey Joseph, having a great season, and Lewis Johnson standing by.
Chris, thanks very much. All right, Coach, we're just a few moments from kickoff. What do you need to see out of your team early on, the first few series, especially with all the emotion that's typically in this building?
Settle the emotions down first. The emotions should be settled down right now. We came out with about 10 minutes on the clock, so they should be settled. Then we got to start fast on both sides of the ball, offense or defense. But special teams is going to be key. We got to dominate the special teams also.
All right, Coach, thank you. Good luck today.
Thank you.
Chris, here we go.
Let's do this. And as Mickey Joseph highlighted there, Anthony, you've seen it year after year. This game, a different level of emotion, a different level of composure needed, especially at the beginning of this game, which is what Mickey Joseph highlighted. As you take a look at the series history, 52nd Annual Bayou Classic since 1974. And as of late, Southern has had the better of things. They've won 6 of the last 7.
For Grambling themselves, with the season they've been able to put together and the fortitude that they've shown. This is a Tiger squad that not only cycling through 4 different quarterbacks, there's a look at the young man himself, Hayden Benoit. Now will have his 3rd start of the season, lit it up in his first start of the year that he had just a few weeks back against Bethune-Cookman with 4 touchdown passes. But what's been most impressive about the G-men is the 4th quarter comebacks. They've had 5 4th quarter comebacks on the season. That's the most in all of Division I football.
To the inverse of what Mickey Joseph had in his first year. Lots of close losses.
Right.
This year, it's flipped around, and it's led Grambling to their best season in 6 years. Grambling State won the toss. They choose to defer to the second half, so it's Southern to get the football first. Geared up, the Caesars Superdome. Those bands, you'll hear that throughout the action. This crowd will get engaged at every big moment. Josh McCormick set the kickoff, and that's Jared Hicks, who's ready to return for Southern. Guys who grow up dreaming of playing in this game. Me, myself, grew up dreaming of broadcasting this game. Nothing like it here in the Dome. Saturday after Thanksgiving, 52nd Annual Bayou Classic is right here on NBC. Jared Hicks from the goal line. Runs out of space quickly, down at the 11. So the special teams unit for Grambling State makes the first impact play, and boy, do they know it. So Ashton Strother, he'll split time with Cameron McCoy. Both of those guys are utilized. Strother, more of the pocket passer.
And one thing that's really going to work out well for Southern today, Trey Holly, who at the time, before he left the lineup a few weeks back with an injury, was leading the Southwestern Athletic Conference in rushing. So having that run game, the way it can take pressure not only off the quarterback position, but off the offensive line.
Well, of course, it wouldn't be the Bayou Classic without a curveball to begin this one. So Cameron McCoy, we mentioned they split time at quarterback. It's McCoy who gets the first snap, and he hands it off to Barry Remo, who goes up the middle. So McCoy, who played not only football but baseball at Eastern Michigan in a prior stop, is an athlete.
On the field,
but on the first play, Isaac Washington for Grambling State, the starting defensive tackle, slow to get up.
Really deep and talented defensive front for the Tigers as Washington got off that block, pursuing to the football. Looks like he got landed on as he was pursuing the tackle there with Remo. See the collision there with the left leg. He's still down on the ground.
Being held to the sideline. And talking to both of these coaches leading into the game, it was really Southern and Fred McNair and their side that was just trying to find a way to maneuver through the injuries that they've had this season, especially defensively for Southern. You look at the record, it's 1-10. This is a program that's had winning season after winning season as of late. These injuries have made it difficult for the Jaguars. They're a 5-yard pickup on first. McCoy keeps it on second. Races to the outside, picks up the first down and more. Stumbles near the 30-yard line. So McCoy, the mobile threat from St. Louis, gains 14.
You can see the speed that Cameron McCoy possesses as he pulls it out of the mesh from the running back position. The defense will have to get a bead on that mesh point. It kind of shows the ball in the belly of the back. As an edge defender, you've really got to read your keys correctly.
Southern 21 points per game near the bottom of the SWAC. Sweeping action. They get the end around to Jared Hicks. And Hicks has stood up quickly and driven back. The emotional defense for Grambling State. Linzer involved, also Marcellus Johnson on that tackle.
It's a really active secondary for Grambling State. And one thing that's been different defensively this season, less blitzing for the Tigers. Pretty frequently the second and third level operate toward the line of scrimmage pre-snap. Because of how deep Grambling is up front, they haven't needed to utilize the blitz as much this year, but the secondary has to run the alley with aggression.
Well, it's a challenge for the offensive line for Southern to hold up. Two backs in this formation, but McCoy to throw. Laser far side, it's bobbled and dropped through the hands of Kobe Brown, a veteran of the Bayou Classic. Brings up 3rd and 9.
Well, that moment just a microcosm of the season for Southern on offense, because when they get behind the chains, they're forced into predictable passing downs and distances. Sometimes receivers open, the pass has been errant from either Strother or McCoy. Sometimes you get that where a nice ball is thrown, Kobe Brown just not able to come up with it.
We know Fred McNair could throw a good ball.
Yes, he could.
Back in his days at Alcorn State. Former coach there as well. Interim head coach, first Bayou Classic as the head man. Pressure on third down, and McCoy goes down. Tyrell Raby came from the corner spot, and Grambling State gets a stop.
It's going to come from the left side of your screen. This is one of those scenarios. On third down is when they like to heat up the pocket, coming from the third level. It's not quite a corner cat to the boundary side of the field, but they'll utilize this when they do get to third downs, especially third and longs.
Creativity of the defense. Defensive coordinator Jason Rollins. Benny Fan punt short and takes a bounce and a roll to the sideline. So it's great field position on the first offensive drive of the game for Grambling State. So Hayden Benoit and company will have golden field position to try to get ahead in its 52nd annual Bayou Classic here on NBC. For the first points. And what an opportunity for Hayden Benoit, fourth string quarterback, a freshman. Now getting a chance to start the Bayou Classic. And for more, here's Lewis Johnson.
Yeah, it was great talking with him on the conference call, Chris. And remember, he said he wasn't even on the travel roster, so he did not expect him to come down to this. And when Zay went down, he got moved up to third string, and then it just came from there. And next thing you know, he is in. He said he began to go to bed earlier. He said he began to get in the building earlier. And as a true freshman, he said there was a lot happening he was trying to get his head wrapped around. Just amazing also that a kid who grew up in Louisiana did not watch the Bayou Classic, but now here he is starting.
That's the ball that Hayden Benoit's thrown. And you think about the stage that Benoit's operating on right now. Not only is an 18-year-old, but just think back a few months ago, really. He was playing in front of 1,800 people as a high school football player in Laurelville, Louisiana. We haven't really seen him operate on the national stage before his first opportunity to do it. But his first start with those 4 touchdowns, he was the SWAC newcomer of the week.
A lot more eyeballs on him here this afternoon. Pressure and dropped. Back at the 5. Defense is roaring to begin this one in New Orleans. Demarion Johnson with a quarterback sack.
It felt like the entire defensive front got penetration there. Not only Johnson, but Zach Yassine and Kelby Gibbons, one of the top pass rushers in the nation, coming off the edge as well. The entire pocket collapsing there around Hayden Benoit.
Not easy as a young quarterback. A game with these stakes. Johnny Shafino, he's the punter. And this one returned by Morris, and he's hit immediately. Position. Heard the name Steve McNair, know the resume, but how about older brother Fred McNair? Somebody who was an epic quarterback himself at Alcorn State, also a former coach, had a legendary career, Arena Football League, where he was an all-time great. He could sling it. Now, Steve McNair, you can see his resume. And then, again, older brother Fred was the original Air McNair. And then sort of let little brother take the nickname right. For his NFL career. First down carry to the outside. Trey Holly, no space. Once again, Bryce Cage, the defensive lineman for Grambling State, makes an impact play. So we're talking about the career of Fred McNair. There's a little bit of that at Alcorn.
And you mentioned he could sling it, also extremely mobile as well. You think back to this time in the 80s at Alcorn State, airing the football out, big arm that he had, playmakers on the outside, but mobility for days for Fred McNair. But he said that, yes, he was known as, he was thought of as Air McNair before his younger brother. By about 5 years, Steve came along and followed in his footsteps.
I just like that dance at the end of that last touchdown. The throw by McCoy doesn't get to the receiver, Brown. It's incomplete. Yeah, but Fred McNair does have that style.
No doubt about it, man. And he, after that playing career and then professional playing career also, went on to coach at his alma mater to extreme success with Alcorn State. And so this is his second year on staff, and with the really surprising step back that Southern took this season, they moved on from Terrence Graves back in October, and Fred McNair has now taken over as the interim.
You mentioned their success. Before this year, it was 11 winning seasons in a 12-year span. So a year like this, really unheard of for the program. Here on third, McCoy, seam ball, skips and incomplete. Closest player was the defender, Markel Linzer. And it's fourth down.
Yeah, Bryce Cage coming from the blind side. You can tell there's a little pressure being felt right now in the pocket by both quarterbacks, because these really talented pass rushers are heating things up.
The defensive lines both ways have been the most impactful unit. Unable to get anything rolling offensively. Pham. Pressure, hits the ground, no flag, and a fair catch. Just inside the 20. Kenny Pham goes back to the sideline. Here in New Orleans. Great spot to be the weekend after Thanksgiving. People here to watch the bands, also here to watch these stars.
Keith Jones, a wide receiver for Grambling State, a rise and grind playmaker, especially in the red zone. The tight end position, C.J. Knight, one of the most experienced players on the field, and I've talked to you about Kelby Gibbons from Southern, one of the best pass rushers in all of college football, and at the nickel spot, coming from the safety, Elijah West. He'll make plays at every level of the Jags defense.
Don't be fooled by Southern's record, 1-10. They've had a lot of adversity this year, injuries. This is a team still with talent.
Right.
They're a preseason pick to win the SWAC, that talented. And it's led by their defense that's healthier now than they've been a lot of points this season. First down pitch to the outside, not much there for Eaton. And that Southern defense looking like what many thought would be the case this season.
And we mentioned Kelby Gibbons. He was chasing the ball from the backside, from one side of the field all the way to the other. The swarm being on display here for the Jaguars. Look at those career ranks amongst active players in Division I football. First in tackles for loss, second in sacks, second with 10 forced fumbles.
Buchanan finalist for the top defensive player last season, doing it again this year. Andre Cruz burrows for a couple. And it's third down coming up. Right now, third downs have been dominated by the defenses.
Hayden Benoit as a quarterback, because he's still learning this offense. He was only running the scout team up until a month ago as he continued to ascend up the depth chart via injury. So there's a lot that he still needs to recognize with the playbook. I do wonder if they get to the point where they can start to get him on the move in a called capacity.
Does have that baseball background, so you know his off-angle throws could be a weapon. Third down and 7, another blitz. Slant there, and a first down. More. Andrew Frazier, foot race. Zooms and is caught right around the 10. Elijah West, but the first explosive of the game from Benoit to Frazier.
He comes on the in cut. Nice levels concept from the outside looking in. And one of the things that stands out with the film of Andrew Frazier, he's only 5'8", but he blocks with heart. But he's got some of the afterburners in the open field as well.
Quick tempo, throw to the flat, getting the angle to the outside, deeks in. Baron Miles, touchdown Grambling.
We know it tends to be on the way when we show up here at the Superdome. There are explosive moments coming. Game got off to a bit of a slow start. Grambling firing the first shot.
All set up from Benoit to Frazier to get him on the doorstep. And then Miles scoots home for his second touchdown this season. Extra point. Davallero goes through. 70-yard connection from Benoit to Frazier. And then capped off with Miles.
Eye discipline being tested of that Southern defense. We'll see Miles from the slot position work toward the outside. And again, using levels to do it on the two big plays, the big chunk pass, and then here on the touchdown, the outcut, because there's a defender running off the coverage, it draws the eyes of the middle of that Southern defense, working the open alley for Baron Miles.
Miles, who had a stop in Nebraska, from Canada, delivers in New Orleans.
Father of Baron Miles Sr., two-time first-team all-conference for the Nebraska Cornhuskers back in their Big 12 days. Hall of Famer for the Cornhuskers. As we look back to that Andrew Frazier big play in a moment. That's the route combination they ran.
McCormick kicks off, 25-yard line. All right, let's go back to that big play.
But when I'm mentioning levels, there's going to be, to get the clean pocket, great protection on the inside, but that missed tackle versus the man coverage coming into your living room. Love the hustle that being shown there by Elijah West.
You know, Frazier was probably upset that he was caught. He's going to go back to the sideline bump.
Every receiver, they take some heat once they get run down from behind, but he set up that touchdown.
There you go, with him getting teased a bit. That could have been his score. But there is Frazier. Another Louisiana guy had a drop in the game last week. There's a big run on the right side, Trey Holly. There is a penalty marker down back near the line of scrimmage. Talley and Davis combined on the stop, but this one could be coming back. So the big play comes back. Garcia, the penalty.
We certainly won't get it twisted. We know that they're going to continue to find ways to get the rock to Trey Holly. Such a talented ball carrier. Former Bayou Bengal with LSU. And as the defender looks to disengage, I don't know. I mean, the hand placement is one thing. Yes, the hand is up around the jersey, but normally the officials will let that ride. You're fighting for hand placement anyway, whether you're on the line of scrimmage, if you're stalk blocking on the outside. Once the defender disengages, though, that's normally when the flag comes.
It takes away, it would have been a chunk play, and instead, 1st and 20 for McCoy. It's been McCoy throughout. Another give to Holly. And maybe 1 yard. Grambling State defense tough to move. Allow only 26 points per game.
The way Fred McNair, who calls the offense for Southern, in addition to being the interim head coach, but the way he operates, he'll have a blend of run scheme, some of it inside zone, outside zone, where you see the offensive line working in unison. Occasionally, they'll also go what we think of as gap scheme, where there's pullers and combination blocks at the point of attack.
Read the pattern here. McCoy rolling to the right and throws it behind Morris. And incomplete. So you mentioned the creativity in the ground game, but still getting put in these long down and distances on third.
And one of the stories for Southern this season has been the untimely penalty, chunk plays that get called back because of penalty flags. It's not a passing attack that's been consistent enough to really be able to recover from some of these second and long, third and long scenarios, especially backed up.
9 penalties per game, to your point. Just not timed. There's Trey Holly. He's been staring at that line. Jacoby Scott, Bayou Classic veteran on the D-line for Grambling. Here on third, crosser tipped and then nearly picked. Quentin Talley dove and nearly scooped it off the turf. Looking for a Khalil Harris.
And it wouldn't have gone for a first down, Chris, but just to get this football out in front of Khalil Harris would have at least given him the opportunity for some run after catch, making it a more comfortable punting scenario. So we've seen both examples here throughout the first quarter. Sometimes the pass is errant from Cameron McCoy. Other times, receiver gets it in both hands and not able to come up with it.
And a rhythm thing too, right? Even if it's not a completion that picks up a first down, just seeing the ball thrown and caught, it can help you settle into the game. Van, as Grambling State continues to control the field position game. Fair catch plus territory. Let's check in with Lewis.
Well, Mickey Joseph, glad to see things going the way they are early on here for Grambling. And before the game, Mickey Joseph and Doug Williams, the legend, embracing. There they are, the legend himself. You can see the sweatshirt there. It says honoring Doug Williams, the Dreamathon jersey, which is very nice. And this year they're honoring the 1975 team. You see the decal there on the helmet and the red stripe. That also reflects the way the helmets used to look back in 1975. Doug Williams was a sophomore quarterback. Of course, we've seen him here at this game so many times. But again, they're honoring the 1975 team, so a special, special day for the Tigers.
Always like that red stripe. Thanks, Lewis. And again, that team back in 1975, 10-2. It was the 33rd year of Eddie Robinson, which is just like insane. This is how long the legend and the wins that he collected as a member of Grambling State. There you go, that red stripe. You think of the black and gold, also that red, a big part of it. And remember Coach Mickey Joseph telling us in that meeting, that G, that means something, not just for Grambling State players, their opponents too. Sometimes going to him after the game and saying, hey, how can I get that G?
Mickey Joseph, second time on staff, former assistant coach here for GSU.
And Wallow snap gets rid of it. It's incomplete. C.J. Knighton in the pattern, but that could have been much worse. So it saves a third down opportunity.
Really nice recovery from Hayden Benoit to be able to scoop the ball up off the ground after the errant snap. Kept his wits about him to flip the ball out to C.J. Knighton. Just couldn't quite get connected with his veteran tight end.
You can look at the drive so far in that 4-play 82-yard drive, get this 170-yard completion. Other than that, though, the Southern defense that has had their challenges this year has looked as good as it's looked all year.
And they haven't had to do it with an all-out blitz consistently. They've brought extra heat, but not as consistently as they normally do.
They rush just for here, and it works. Right on cue, just what you mentioned, Ant, in that Southern defense. You can see Kelby Givens involved, Johnson there as well. That whole D-line looking for a game ball.
The way they've been able to take things over here early. Sometimes as a defensive lineman, you get a sense for a young quarterback who may hold the rock for a moment. That twist stunt on the inside with the looper coming around. But Myrie and Johnson able to get the penetration, and Givens with the finish.
So backwards go the Tigers. Started in plus territory. So final punt, Morris from the 13. Makes the first miss, but only a 3-yard return. Waiting moments of the first quarter, and one of the few times it's kind of a surprise. We haven't seen the pushing and shoving after a play until late in the first. That's usually the first drive.
The Grambling State special teams were a bit of an issue for them earlier in the season. They've gotten better with their kick and punt coverage in recent weeks. You can tell the pride they're taking and how that's been able to flip this season for them despite all the injuries they've had at QB.
So from what you've seen from both these teams so far, how has the first quarter lived up to your expectations?
I do believe, even though we're now seeing a change at quarterback for Southern's offense, where Ashton Strother coming in, he, like you mentioned, Chris, more of the drop back passer. I do think we'll still see a heavy dose of the Southern run.
Junior from Memphis, hands, and that is denied. Masanto, excuse me, with the one who races into the backfield to make the tackle on what could be the final play of the first.
So there's not a lot of respect right now for the ability for the penetration for GSU.
That is the end of the first quarter.
So fittingly, a defensive stop in the backfield is the capper of a defensive-oriented first 15 minutes. Mickey Joseph his Grambling State team with the early 7-0 lead. First to watch, brought to you by Allstate, this side of the ball with Southern controlling the football.
Well, the most talented playmakers on the field is Trey Holly. They'll continue to try to force the rock to him, and look out for Warren Morris when he gets the football, as well for Darren Morris when he gets the football for Southern. But on the defensive side, we've seen the way that Bryce Cage operates for the G-men up front. And look out for Markel Linzer, one of the leading interceptions in Division I football.
4 picks this year, Louisiana product. So it was Cameron McCoy who started. Ashton Strother is now the second quarterback. This is his first drive, second down, and they give to Holly on the outside. And once again, this Grambling State defensive line tough. And this is a rivalry matchup, so you will have some pushing and shoving, some jawing after plays. That just a 2-yard pickup.
If Trey Holly gets into the open field, he's a player I don't believe is likely to get caught from behind. So the pursuit for Grambling at the second level is really key. Historically, we see a lot of movement and stemming around at the second and third level. There's been less of that this season for Grambling on the defensive side of the football, but it's allowed them to positionally play more sound.
More talent, better talent, they can just line up and play?
Seems that way up front, without a doubt. Very deep on the D-line.
Joe Blitz back on. Strother pressure from behind and belted. Shane Monsanto again, his second impact play in as many drives for Grambling State's.
The North Greenville transfer, able to get home into the pocket. He's got really long limbs, and the retrace that we see. Sometimes it's actual twist stunts being called up front. Other times you just see defenders reacting off of each other. And that term retrace, we mentioned that once you get up the field as an edge defender to work back downhill out of the stack and chase down a quarterback as they climb the pocket vertically. That's teach tape stuff from the GSU D-line.
You weren't kidding. He doesn't have long arms. These are the long limbs there. Seeing great on that last look. Bam, it's a high punt, but it's not a deep one at all. Doesn't even reach the 40 and then takes a bounce that favors the Tigers. This one's down just outside the 30-yard line. So another chance for Grambling to strike. It's funny how Grambling has had great field position for a good amount of this game, but their touchdown drive came on their worst starting field position of the game.
And the deep ball that we haven't seen displayed from Hayden Benoit yet. He really does throw a gorgeous downfield pass. He hasn't had a chance yet to really exhibit it in this game.
You brought up that game he had against Bethune-Cookman. 4 touchdowns in his starting debut. What an impact. Andre Cruz stops and starts, but can't accelerate. Traylon James, credit for the tackle, second down.
So much of the presence of Southern's defense has really been predicated on attacking the interior of the line of scrimmage, and that's basically where the entire Grambling run game has been. But they do have receivers who they can use for jet sweeps, end arounds. It's underappreciated how the mechanics of the run game for a quarterback who hasn't had reps may not be fully up to snuff yet for Benoit.
Started the season 4th string. Throws a screen to Nashawn Dickerson, who's back healthy for Grambling. Missed a good chunk of the year. That's just his 4th catch. A big play, 6-year receiver. Kelby Gibbons all the way out from his line spot to make that tackle.
And the way things have operated this season for Grambling, like you mentioned, Chris, Hayden Benoit, the 4th string quarterback, their opening game starter and the guy who they were hoping would carry the day for them, Zay Tset, suffered an injury against Jackson State. A really significant injury that really galvanized the team around their concern for Zay Tset. They feel like he's likely at home watching, sending positive vibes.
Of course, Tset was a former Southern Jaguar himself. Slant, bobbled, and dropped. Incomplete. Keith Jones Jr. was the receiver, and that might have hit him in the hands.
It certainly did. One of the better balls that Hayden Benoit has thrown so far in this game. Tight window throw. He fit it through. Was able to get it there. And I mentioned the vertical pass that he throws. I'd say today, so far in this game, the in cut This is the best I've seen in watching the film of Hayden Benoit, that he's thrown some of these in-breaking routes with anticipation and accuracy. He's not able to connect.
47-yard attempt. Theodore Caballero. Not even the big leg kicker for Grambling. Does he have enough leg? Doesn't matter. It's wide. So now 8 for 11 this season. Tried to take advantage of the plus field position. Could not do it. Southern football when we return. And by Progressive. Progressive is proud to help veteran-owned small businesses with its Keys to Progress program. The throwback programs always get me. Somebody who really grew up on this game on NBC. This started in 1991, being broadcast on NBC. I was born in 1991, so just some kind of perspective there of, yeah, I grew up watching this. So, Tom Hammond, Myra Rashad, Lewis Johnson. It's been years since he's done this, watching you in the booth as well. And it's always a thrill to get a chance to call this one. As somebody who truly grew up watching. The comeback route on first down is deflected away and incomplete. Blake Davis.
It's the Bayou Classic. Grambling against Southern from the Superdome in New Orleans. Harrison has passed already for 255 yards today. Steps up and sails it for Thomas. He's got it. Brian Thomas, touchdown.
Classic moments, classic calls, classic announcers. And Bryce Cage, who goes by Butch, delivers a boom for the Grambling State defense.
He tends to have a classic performance when he's on this Bayou Classic stage. This no exception right now on that inside penetration. One of the things he does great, gets under the pads of the offensive tackle and then up the field. Adjusts his angle to make the play.
And last year's MVP of the game on the defensive side, despite his team not coming out victorious. Strother has an open target, popped in the air and intercepted. Raby runs and is caught from behind. Cam Jefferson was open, but the pass was high, and Raby makes the impact defensive play.
The Memphis transfer tips and overthrows.
Gotta get those.
That's right. That's what the defense is looking for. And as the pass sails high, tips up into the air. And Raby knows what to do with the football when he makes the play on the ball in flight. His third interception of the season. There was an open target there, no doubt about that. But yet another pass from a Southern quarterback that's just a bit high.
He's from Baton Rouge and gets to dance with his defense. Inside the 30, Benoit hunting for an all-go ball there, touchdown! Keith Jones Jr., 28 yards.
A gorgeous throw and catch coming all the way across the formation. I like the fact that Benoit worked to find a window, just extended the play ever so slightly to the lateral side of the field, and as he did, put the touch on it that was necessary to fit it over the outstretched hands of Keith Jones.
You weren't lying when he said he has a beautiful defense.
He really does.
Extra point, perfect, 14-0 Grambling State. Benoit, not bad for a guy who was not supposed to see the field this year. Air it out. Plenty underneath, off the interception. Grambling State doubles their lead in the dome. What a year it has been in college football at the FBS level when it comes to the coaching openings. Right. It really hasn't been seen anything like that. Of course, Southern with an interim head coach in this game with Fred McNair. Of course, Fred McNair got the interim spot. Terrence Graves let go after a 1-6 start. And remember, just the moments that Graves have provided at the Bayou Classic over the years. Remember, he's the first coach to win at the Classic on both sides of the rivalry as a head coach. I mean, what it meant to him to win it last year, get the water dumped on him after, and just not the start of the season that anybody for Southern would have hoped for this year. A team that was picked to win the SWAC just never really got it rolling.
You mentioned them being the preseason favorites in this conference, in their division, in the West Division. They had a lot of talent that returned from last season. Surprising results this year.
First down run. There's space for Holly. The LSU transfer. One of the best carries that Southern has had so far in this game. Still stuck in the negatives, thanks in large part to the defense for Grambling.
But Southern just hasn't been able to run a lot of offense yet.
Holly shimmies and has the first down to the 41.
So being able to lean on that Grambling defense, extend the drives. This is where Southern can really begin to get something going, because the passing attack sets up best for them off of play action when the defense has to respect their ability to run.
Strother threw the interception on the last drive, which ended any progress there. So give it to the back 3 straight times to try to create space. Approaching the 10-minute to go mark here in this second quarter.
Former LSU Tiger and Trey Holly, their most talented back, but Barry Remo's been able to step in recently and have some nice games as well. Been really productive, so they can go with a two-headed monster throughout the game if they're able to continue to extend their drives.
Holly did play in 3 games at LSU. Roll out to the right. Strother looking and then runs. Oh my!
Strother very obviously well out of bounds. You see Fred McNair coming over to the Grambling sideline, making sure that, as upset, understandably, as his offensive line, as his Jaguars players are, about the late hit on the quarterback, wanting to make sure that everyone maintains their composure. Mickey Joseph doing similar on his sideline.
Personal foul, late hit out of bounds on the defense, number 14. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. Automatic first down. Timeout on the field for an injured player.
Yeah, Strother is the brutal part of the game. They said 14. It was 4 who had the hit Cage. A guy who just makes so many tremendous plays for the defense, but that one was just clearly after Strother was out of bounds. And as you highlighted there, and just the 2 head coaches who were on the same staff at Alcorn State, making sure that nothing extracurricular happens after this, which was brutal enough. But the good news is Strother does get up.
And you think back, Chris, a few weeks ago, of course, for Grambling State, there was a sideline altercation that they had. A number of players ended up getting suspended, and composure has been such a message for them in the couple of games that they've now played since then. It's good to see Southern quarterback Ashton Strother able to get up, appears to be firing his teammates up on that side of the field as well. Stayed down on the sideline for quite some time. Seems to be in a position at the moment where he's at least eager to continue playing. We'll see whether or not that ends up being the case with the multiple quarterbacks that have already rotated.
All right, let's go down to Lewis.
Yeah, to add on to what you guys are talking about with a little more detail, Grambling had 18 players suspended by the SWAC after an on-field physical altercation. That was 2 weeks ago in a win against Bethune-Cookman. 3 of the 18 players were suspended for 2 weeks, for 2 games. And that second game was going to be today at the Bayou Classic. Now, they appealed, but I was told before the game that the appeal was denied, so 3 players were not able to be in this game today. So listen, they're trying to keep this thing under control. and hopefully not have any more altercations like we saw 2 weeks ago, and surely not have that here today.
I appreciate that update there, Lewis. And we were looking at Mickey Joseph there. I got to respect that the coach for Grambling took some personal onus on his leadership as well from that situation.
Yeah, very reflective about that. McCoy back in, and he throws first pass relief of Strother as a sideline ball on target. Khalil Harris, and a first down for Southern.
What we've seen throughout the first half of this game, getting McCoy on the move as both a passer and a runner appears to be the biggest threat Southern can offer right now.
Up the middle, Holly. Circles around, doesn't go down with the first wave.
And just to go back to that hit from Cage on the sideline a moment ago, I'm sure there's some folks at home thinking, well, the quarterback's coming at one angle, the defender's coming at a different angle, what's he supposed to do? The onus is on the defense by rule, whether you're talking targeting, hits out of bounds. Yes, you have two players coming at opposing angles, but Bryce Cage has played the game for a long time. He's got the ability and the onus to move out of the way before that collision.
Up the middle, Holly has a crease. Lowers the shoulder, can't get into the end zone, but it puts Southern right on the doorstep on a drive where they needed a response.
Contact balance for Trey Holly showing up, able to work his way through a small crease. Nice fold block there from Chris Garcia, able to spring the talented Holly to the third level.
How about this formation? Push like McCoy. And you're not exactly on the one, more like the two, so you figure, okay, you do it once, you might do it twice, you might do it 3 times if it gets you in.
And from outside of the 2-yard line, it is more difficult to try and overwhelm the defense from that far.
And you're not exactly on the one, more like the two, so you figure, okay, you do it once, you might do it twice, you might do it 3 times if it gets you in.
And from outside of the 2-yard line, it is more difficult to try and overwhelm the defense from that far away unless you really get a surge. One thing I know, I can tell already, Trey Holly is hoping that he'll get another opportunity to get the football in his hands.
So close to getting in on the run to set him up. More traditional spread look. Play clock late. And with that, a timeout.
Timeout. Southern. First charge timeout of the half. It'll be a full timeout.
Fred McNair knows you got to get in here. Team down. Play clock late. And with that, a timeout.
Timeout. Southern. First charge timeout of the half. It'll be a full timeout.
Fred McNair knows you got to get in here. Team down 2 touchdowns.
It seemed, Chris, like they got a bit fired up after that big hit on the sideline and penalty flag thrown with that late hit on Ashton Strother. Southern's offense responded.
Yeah, it's something like that. You just see your quarterback take a hit on the sideline late. It does have an effect. This run has an effect. Dynamic return. Bride down the right side and pushed out of bounds. His nickname is Bam, Jordan Bride. And Bam's a good way to describe his explosive.
Being attended to on the sidelines now. He was full speed. I referenced the special teams for Grambling State. It was a problem for them earlier in the season. Their return game wasn't really that functional. Their coverage units weren't operating well either. But throughout the season, just almost week by week, they've continued to lay additional groundwork. And it's a young team as a whole, a young roster. Well, inexperienced is probably a better word, Chris, because Mickey Joseph only had 6 players coming into this season that returned from his squad that he fielded last year in his first season as the head coach for the Tigers. And in doing so, they've had to really lay that foundation and put that in place to begin to build everything that's led them to the most successful season they've had. Now, the first winning season since 2019 and the most wins already that they've had since 2017.
And what Mickey Joseph mentioned when, you mentioned the roster overhaul in the offseason, the goal was to, as a program, move into one direction. As it's good to see Van Bry fired up and headed back to his sideline. They said he felt last year, first year as a coach, there's still people going in different directions, different agendas, whether it's on the staff or as players. So just trying to make sure you get experienced players from winning programs, and that to change what has been for Grambling State a lack of success, at least in the win column. This is their first winning season since 2019. So the offseason recipe for Coach Joseph, at least for now, paying dividends.
Production over potential. Folks who fit what Mickey Joseph is looking to build here with the G-Man.
After a great return, here's Benoit to the air. Slant, perfect. And a first down, Grambling. Nicholas Howard, his first catch.
Certainly more rhythm right now from the last couple of series, what we've seen from Hayden Benoit, operating within the pocket. They're not calling him into movement, but especially on the inside, you're seeing running backs helping out on the interior, keeping that defensive front stymied.
Eaton up the middle. There is a flag back at the line of scrimmage.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense, number 91. Half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
So it's on Southern's Zach Yassin.
Pretty frequently when you're sort of grappling on the inside and you're fighting force with force, trying to get leverage on the opponent, especially now that we're getting into the latter stages of the first half, those jerseys start to get slippery, hands start to move around, and all it takes is that little inch slide from one direction to the next thing you know, your hand's in the face of the opponent.
Even the top of the head of Fred McNair getting a little slick with the sweat. Bouncing outside Eaton, and wrapped up and hog tied down. Kelby Givens, the star defensive end for Southern.
So depending on how this drive ends up progressing, it is a big opportunity for Southern's defense, because inside the 10-yard line here, if they can force a decision, now second down coming up, if they can force a decision for Grambling to perhaps go for a fourth down, even though the field position worked in favor of the Tigers, it'd still be a big chance here for Southern if they can come up with a stop.
The average starting field position for Grambling, their last 4 drives, the plus 32. Despite that, Southern's defense has at least held up for the most part. Timeout, Grambling.
Grambling, the first charge time of the half to be a 30-second timeout.
Grambling State's first touchdown, it came on a big play on their worst starting field position of the game. It really just shows you how good Southern's defense has been when they've been pressed against it. But yeah, Grambling has had the explosives.
The combustible nature of the Grambling State Tigers this season has been on display offensively. The in cut from Andrew Frazier getting out into the open field, and then Baron Miles putting 6 on the board after that. Been a timely defense, the way that they've operated on that side of the football, leading the SWAC in takeaways. And then we saw the freshman move the pocket and throw an absolutely gorgeous teardrop to Keith Jones.
Remember the Battle of the Bands coming up at halftime right here on NBC.
How can we forget, Chris?
You can never. World famed Tiger marching band, the Human Jukebox. They'll put on a show. Grambling State trying to cap off their short field drive with a touchdown. With Cruz, the running back, 2nd and goal. Low snap, Benoit. On target, touchdown. Keith Jones Jr., number 2. But look out, there is a flag.
I know Southern is hoping it's going to be an offensive pass interference. A lot of times on these scissors concepts.
Pass interference. Offense. Number 88. 15-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
By formation, Nick Howard was aligned inside, and he started to cut across the face of the defender. You expect man coverage, and Southern likes to run man all over the field, but especially here inside the 10-yard line. That collision, and he tried to play it off, but the officials will have that deference. It's a bit of a great. Today, but he is the player that's got some rise and grind ability. Once you get here in the red zone, they love that he can go up and get jump balls.
Working with you all these years, that rise and grind, that's my favorite. It's my favorite Anthonyism
Very good.
for this game.
Appreciate that, partner. I'm going to keep that in mind.
Let's see who rises and grinds here on this 3rd down. Benoit, screen deflected. And incomplete. Jerome Wallace with the fingertip. And what looked like it was a Grambling State touchdown to go up 2 scores instead of field goal to potentially make this a 10-point game.
It's a big stop for Southern to at least force the field goal try after the penalty flag being thrown by the officials.
So McCormick from 39. Once again, though, Southern's defense pushed into tough position after tough position. Once again, they get off the field. This is McCormick. 39 yards, yes, sir. Hey, Grambling State had a kicker win the MVP of this game back in 2021. It's been done before.
It at least makes it a 2-score game again. I use the term rebuttal drive. After Southern looked like they had seized a bit of confidence after the energy that was infused into their sideline from the late hit on their quarterback. Grambling's special teams got them in great position to be able to put a scoring drive together. Southern didn't wilt, but still a quality result for GSU to come away with at least 3.
Well, this Sunday, anything can happen when the Broncos ride into D.C. to take on the Commanders. Sunday, 7 Eastern on NBC and Peacock. So you mentioned the Broncos. You talk about their defense, one of the best in the NFL. And, of course, their defense is set up by Vance Joseph, who's the brother of Mickey Joseph, the Grambling State head coach. One goes through the end zone, touchback, 25-yard line. So Southern, a chance for, as you said, a rebuttal drive. So, yeah, both of these coaches have significant brothers a part of the game. Steve McNair, of course, the younger brother of Fred, and Vance Joseph. It's funny, we were talking to Mickey heading into this game, and he mentioned, like, they took the Vance Joseph Super Bowl plan of making sure the team stayed at least some port away from the heart of New Orleans. He told us at an undisclosed location.
Yes,
Learned it from Vance's Super Bowl appearances. Hey, you want to eliminate all those distractions.
I respect that. I do.
There are distractions.
Last season was his first year leading the G-Men into the Bayou Classic, or to learn from how last year felt.
McCoy's still in at quarterback. And Asbury gets the run. So you start to pay attention to the clock here. You're late in the first half, under 5 minutes left. Down by 10 points. A half that could have been a lot worse for Southern. They're still right there.
And it would seem to me that Fred McNair making the decision, see if they can at least pick up that first down, and then once you do that, perhaps consider tempo.
Spread look. Asbury, the running back. He does get the carry. Asbury first down, past the 40. There is a marker back near the quarterback. McCoy was hit after he handed the ball off.
There's a decision defenders end up making off the handoff, whether or not the quarterback is potentially
personal
fair
foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense, number 43. That 15-yard penalty will be added to the end of the run. First down.
So that's Johnson right here off the mesh.
And if there were a play fake being carried out by a quarterback, then you at least have a chance. Marcelius Johnson, though, where your quarterback is stationary, the opposing QB just standing after obviously handing the football away, then you're not able to just go up and cold cock.
You get some protection there. You're not involved in the play. 15-yard penalty, and all of a sudden the ball at the 41. Asbury gobbled up. Bryce Cage, like he's unleashed from a cage.
See the variety of the run plays coming from Southern for Cage, able to work inside the offensive tackle and be in pursuit mode, whether it's on the sideline or up top. I think someone from Southern perhaps recognizes there could be a chance to get Cameron McCoy on the move with the way they're attacking the edge from GSU.
Blitz. Darling coming off the edge. They pick up the blitz. So McCoy has time. Off balance throw, out of bounds. Punting deep. Harris was there. No chance to get it to him.
Well, I use the term mesh point when Cameron McCoy, if he's faking the football into the belly of the running back, he's got the opportunity on a true read option to fake that handoff inside and keep it. The very first offensive snap of the game, Cameron McCoy looked like one of the fastest players on the football field, but we haven't seen his running ability continue to be a true threat to the Tigers defense.
He can run, he can throw, he can pitch. Baseball player at Eastern Michigan. On to Jackson State. Like a lot of guys these days, multiple. Six. Low snap. McCoy hunts deep. One-on-one, but incomplete. And a turnover on downs. Kobe Brown was the receiver. There are no flags. Patrick Marshall held up in coverage.
I like the decision to go for the fourth down. I do not love the play call. I would have much preferred either an in-breaking route or to get Cameron McCoy on the move, to threaten the defense with his running ability. Good no call there from the officials. Nothing intense about the jostling as the ball's in flight. Kobe Brown tried to make the adjustment as the football was coming over his head. Wasn't able to connect.
Just you wanted more options near the sticks instead of, hey, trying for a one-on-one deep ball there.
I did. They just haven't been effective with the pocket passing game enough. That was a decisive down right there. Would have liked to see McCoy on the move.
Grambling takes over from the 36. Cruz on first down. Good hole up the middle. And picks up 9. Final play before the 2-minute timeout. Huge opportunity for Grambling to take control of this game. 2 timeouts left.
Timeout on the field. 2-minute
the
timeout.
Football near midfield. Of course, 2-minute timeout means 2 minutes of game time away from this. The Battle of the Bands. Last night, the Battle of the Bands and Greek Step Show at the Superdome. They put on an absolute show. So you know they're going to bring it a different level here on game day. Human Jukebox, world-famed Tiger Marching Band. That's coming up at halftime. Teams, the game, the players who I think might have the edge.
Right, makes sense.
I don't express any opinions out loud on the bands because I don't want that smoke. I don't want it at all.
Now, where are you at on social media, by the way? Where can folks find you?
I mean, should I even bring that out at Chris Lewis tweet? Because,
Yes.
you know, I am
At him. Please add him.
They're both epic. They're both sensational. They'll both put on an absolute clinic. There'll be surprises in store coming up, the Battle of the Bands at half. But, yeah, don't ask me to pick which one was better.
Now, I am at Big Ant Heron. I'm going to tell you which band was better at halftime.
You want your mentions lit on fire. Okay, that's all him, not me. 2 minutes to go. Here in this first half, Cruz picks up the first down for Grambling right at midfield. Let's check in with Lewis.
Well, you guys don't want to take an opinion about the Battle of the Bands, but I will have an opinion about the step show. I wasn't here. I didn't see it, but I know who won.
Now who was that, Mr. Johnson?
The brothers of Kappa Alpha Psi. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I had to mention that, of course. That's the checkbox element of the Classic every year. Love to have it. First down in the 2-minute drill to the outside receiver slip, Baron Miles. So second down coming up. Benoit has been impressive.
And the way he's operated from inside the pocket, I'd say the first quarter of the game looked a little shaky, pass protection breaking down a lot, but that heat that he felt early, the offensive line was able to dissipate it, and the running backs and tight ends have played a key role in that also. But we see the passing talents there. You got to remember, Benoit was a walk-on to this football team at the start of the season.
And then gets the opportunity in the biggest game that could make or break a season. LaFleur stops the run by Cruz. Third down coming up. So you're Grambling State. You want to ensure that you do have the final possession of this half. You want points too, but you also want to make sure that Southern doesn't get the football back.
Opportunity for a 2-for-1 if you get this drive. Certainly points would be preferred, but even if not, having the ball coming out of the half gives them that opportunity to double up.
Why coaches choose to defer to the second half. Grambling State with 2 timeouts left, Southern with 2 as well. Tigers 1 for 6 on third downs. Here's a 3rd and 6 to go. Benoit intercepted. Elijah West turned around and snatched it. Junior from Albany, Georgia. That was picture perfect.
The perfect imperfections of a young quarterback. There's not much that could really have gone wrong for GSU aside from that. The late decision, staring down the slant route the entire way, and Elijah West making a pay, knowing the in cut is incoming. And it's one thing to read it, Chris, but the ball skill shown by West to go back hip on a pass that almost went right by him. Big opportunity here for the Jags.
How about that catch? It just reminds me of the Battle of the Bands and the baton holder does like the backwards.
Oh yeah,
the back to
right.
Kind of have that kind of move to snatch that ball behind him. More third down failures on the side of Grambling. Meanwhile, a run from Holly. See if Southern wants to expire the rest of this first half, or will they be aggressive?
It's 2 timeouts here. I believe aggression would be warranted in this moment.
Instead, just a couple of runs. Wow. So you said it. 2 timeouts left. The ball around midfield. They take a timeout here. But that was a few seconds that went off the clock on the run that didn't gain much.
And if there were more time on the clock.
Plays, we have a first down. Timeout.
game. You see the record there, but this is a program that Coach McNair has really kept together through the back half of the schedule. And a win here at the Bayou Classic, it almost feels like you have a successful season no matter what.
All right.
So first down rollout with 10 seconds left. The pass off and completes by the 30-yard line. So that is well done. Knighton makes the grab. McCoy put it to a T. You get out of bounds. That was all the elements.
Did they
not
rule that he
rule it out of
landed in
bounds?
bounds?
Timeout. Southern, their third and final timeout of the half. Be a 30-second timeout.
So Southern got the indication that they did not rule this out of bounds, meaning they have to call timeout to stop the clock, and wonder if he even controlled possession before it hit the ground.
They're getting Cameron McCoy on the move, calling him into sprint action. Did you see the eyes of the second and third level of Grambling's defense? They have to respect the mobility, and your quarterback only has to read half the field. There's a lot of that. We're just adding elements of that into the offense. I do believe Fred McNair needs to make sure that's a big part of what they do offensively in half number 2.
So the field goal kicker, Kenny Pham, who, by the way, their punter for most of the year, not their usual field goal kicker. Nathan Zimmer has kicked the most field goals. Haven't seen him yet. This is a long one for someone who's not a traditional field goal kicker. 48 yards. And there's a flag. Wow, and if that's on Southern, that changes the math.
Think about a few different things operationally that impacted this final drive.
Before the timeout, before the false start, we have a timeout, Grambling State. It's their second charge timeout of the half. Be a 30-second timeout.
Well, that's one the Marrero, Louisiana native might want to have back.
But the first of these last 2 timeouts on this series for Southern looked like perhaps the officials didn't rule it a first down immediately, so Fred McNair uses that first timeout. Second timeout utilized after his receiver is ruled to have come down in bounds, so they use timeout number 2. So no timeouts remaining at this point. So with 7 seconds to go, there's still an opportunity to attempt one more pass and hope for the best. But with no timeouts remaining, this is really sort of the last best effort because of some of the struggles and inconsistencies of their passing attack.
Big one to make this a clean 7-point game at half. 48 yards. Pham. Shorts. No good. So when a rivalry that they say divides families, well, Pham comes up just short from 48. 2 seconds left.
Each of these football teams have had their chances at the second quarter as Wayne. Southern to decrease that gap, Grambling to extend it. Neither able to make that happen, but all that does, Chris, is set up for a second half where the game will no doubt be in the balance.
And before that, Human Jukebox, world fame, Tiger Marching Band will do their thing here at the Caesars Superdome. The stage being set
of the first half
for one of the best shows that you will see here on NBC.
And both of the defensive lines were really made by each team to shore up the pass protection.
Well, let's go down on the field. Lewis Johnson.
Chris, thank you very much. Coach, early in this game, I saw you come back and sit down on the bench next to your freshman quarterback, Hayden Benoit. What did you say to him, and what have you seen since?
He needs to settle down and he needs to bow his neck right now. He needs to play with a little bit more mental toughness, and I wish he would do that because that's what we preach in our building.
All right, and how are you going to keep Southern at bay here in the second half and try and get this win?
We're going to continue to try to control both lines of scrimmage and play solid on special teams.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Chris.
Said like only Mickey Joseph. Hey, his Aunt Pearl named him Mickey, nickname, because of his ears. He's hoping that his quarterback has big ears to listen. Got to have that toughness. Tough first half. Both teams showed it. 17-7. Grambling State has the lead.
The following performance is rated G. Evan Mitchell and that bad boy from Shreveport, Louisiana, Dale Marshall Jr., two of the best to ever do it. New Orleans, Louisiana, this is the moment we've all been waiting for. Since 1926, this prestigious, electrifying, multi-talented band has performed in nearly every major stadium across the world. Africa, Tokyo, Spain, from the U.S. coast to coast to the NBA All-Star Game. BET to stadium seats, the home to the Super Bowl. They know our name. We are the world's fame. And now the world famous show our skills to precision drill to Bad Boy by Luther Vandross. The world famous marching band has performed the inaugurations of Presidents Bush and Obama, and also the virtual inauguration of President Joe Biden. Graham Fam is in the building. Let's go! Louisiana, we're gonna slow it down with some Keisha Cole. They call this love. I need you to sing it, New Orleans, if you know it. Sing it if you know it. Keisha Cole, love. Featuring our world famed twirler, Zora Boutin, Burks.
Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the one and only Chloe Willow. Hey, she from Memphis.
What you know about her? Big GLO winner.
Bang, bang.
What's up, New Orleans? Y'all ready to have a good time?
7 p.m. Friday, 95 degrees. I ain't got no haters, and no hater ain't got me.
I'm about to show my butt.
What else?
You haters love her. How the hell is that your man? If he right here with me,
Hey.
turned up with my hitter.
Yeah.
50,000 fans came to see you to my. Got a million that want haters and they y'all can kiss my.
Hold up.
Turned up with my.
Hold up.
Turned up with my.
Yeah.
Turned up at my show, Jay. So right here with me.
Make some noise. Let's keep it going, Big Low.
Can I perform some new for y'all? One time Bayou Classic.
Talk to him.
Ride with some white beats, round some.
Switch it.
Round with another girl hit on.
What?
Ride to the wheels fall off. If the hit ain't got good head.
Dismiss him.
Just back up down easy.
Inches.
My girls are plugging me. Can't diss me, come to my city. I'll beat girl up like
Take that.
They don't pulling up in that Maybach. You don't mean that, don't say that.
What?
In the gym, I done got that weight back. Drop the hit, these girls can't.
Shake that.
These girls scared. Diamond clarity. I'm legendary.
What else?
Big glow pull up, stun on. Stun like Nietzsche Terry.
Hold on.
When I'm out Memphis, me and my security ain't necessary. Hit a time about him, mess with glow. Dude, south of February.
What?
These girls scared. Ain't no worry. Don't get all on berry.
What?
Why you calling my phone looking for yo? Hit a girl, I ain't secretary.
Okay.
You won't get hurt. I get money, Teddy.
Jerry.
Girl talking about she don't mess with glow. Dude, south of February.
Mars. We in New Orleans. Let them cook it up, Glow. Hold on.
Is y'all ready to kick it up one time, New Orleans? Let me y'all make some noise.
It go 1, 2. Y'all better sing along like. Glow, you better pop it. Pop it, Glow. Pop it, Glow. Get it, Glow. Get it, Glow, and go. Hey, what we say, go. I'm down to do. I'm down to
The world-famous marching bands of direction out of the Crow Road, the Super Directors, Mr. Michael Hitchens, Dr. Edward Thomas, Dr. Kendall Damon, Mr. Michael Price, Mr. Terrence Ross, Mr. Dylan Sims, and Mr. Jermaine Cohen, Banner Sister Nana Davis, Executive Citizen Director, Ms. Janice Cowan, B Solo, I'm BJ Bell. Good night, New Orleans.
Their thing here at the Dome in New Orleans. That was fun. So was the first half. Here at the Caesars Superdome, Anthony Herron still bobbing around. We're back talking now. I'm Chris Lewis. I don't mind you continuing to sing along for what we saw at halftime.
Oh, don't tempt me.
But as we look ahead to the second half of this game, Grambling State had the advantage. What does Southern need to do to climb back?
Get their defensive front really impacting the game at a higher level again. Their rotation up front isn't as deep as the one that Grambling State offers, but enhance the pressure. Make sure you're making the quarterback position, in this case Hayden Benoit, feel your presence in the backfield as he did during the first quarter. And I think for Southern's offense, get the QB on the move. If McCoy's going to be the guy behind center, utilize his mobility.
Well, Grambling State, they had the lead at halftime, looking for their first win at the Bayou Classic since 2021. The question is, can they hang on at the Dome? 17-7, Grambling State leads halftime here in New Orleans. Second half coming up next.
The second half.
We just can't give up the big returns and stuff like that. We got one deep ball thrown on us, broke coverage. We just got to just maintain, keep the ball in front of us, and offense, we got to stay ahead of the chain.
Coach, we saw your quarterback, Ashton Strother, take a late hit in the first half. Looked like he had a right hand injury. You didn't see him back. Will he return here in the second half?
Yes, he will. Dr. Clinton will return back to play, so you'll see him in the second half.
All right, great. Thank you so much. Good luck.
You're welcome.
All right, so good news there for Southern, their quarterback. They've used him and McCoy both, even before Strother went down with an injury. But Looks like Southern's quarterback spot will be full strength as we start the second half. Meanwhile, though, Grambling State to get the football first here in half two, already up by 10 points.
We spoke a moment ago, Chris. I talked about the pressure on the pocket. You can only ask so much of the D-line, especially if there's not a deep rotation. But I think timely blitzing from a Southern defense that's blitzed more than almost any other in the SWAC.
Short kick. Johnson, far side to return, and he's hit immediately. So a good pooch kick. It did its job to pin Grambling inside the 25. So the numbers, each of these teams, some ugly-looking offensive numbers, especially early on in that half. It started to settle in a little bit more late second quarter.
Especially Hayden Benoit, and for him to not really have the assistance of a big-time run game, him being pocket-based, and it makes things a little bit more predictable for Southern in half number two. But for this Jaguars defense, to come up with another takeaway would be a huge ability to start this second half.
Second quarter, Benoit did throw that interception late. Pressure as the draw is denied. Andre Cruz had nowhere to go. Jamarlo Campbell turned the door.
There's a lot of this on the Southern film this season where you see linebackers, defensive backs knifing into the backfield, timing things up really well, and especially you're facing a freshman quarterback, so it's not likely going to be a lot of variance in the cadence.
Grambling still on the negatives when it comes to rushing yards. Shows the excellence of Southern's defense, much healthier than it's been all year. Benoit throws high and incomplete. Pete Jones Jr., the receiver, leading target this season for Grambling's passing attack.
So now here on 3rd and long, behind the chains after the first down TFL. Now they've got to have a protection strategy for Kelby Givens, one of the leading sack artists in college football.
9 sacks coming in for Givens. Where's the number 1? And he's the one guy you have to look out for these type of situations on the left side. Rushes the edge here and once again creates havoc. And there's a flag down, likely a hold, and that was nearly a pick. Across the body throw was dangerous. And again, Givens created the chaos.
A little crossover move, an inside out step.
Holding, offense, number 78. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
The full arsenal of pass rush is available to Kelby Givens. You'll watch him work there. Quick stab move and then inside out with the footwork, getting the offensive tackle on skates. It's like a crossover type move like you'd see with the New Orleans Pelicans, let alone here at the Superdome.
Jeremiah Fears is looking at that move. Smoothie King Center right across the way. Darren Morris is back to return. Shafano's punt, not deep. Takes a bounce and a roll inside the 40, so some extra yardage with the bounces. And Southern will begin this drive from inside the 35. So they drew it up just how the Jags wanted. They got the stop to begin the half, and now their offense has a chance to pull the team within 1 score.
Well, it's the opportunity to go in at the half for the Jaguars and make some adjustments for Fred McNair to confer with the rest of the coaching staff. My impression, as I said throughout the second quarter, is that getting Cameron McCoy on the move just threatens this Grambling State defense in a different way than any other thing we've seen from them throughout the first half of this game. His legs have to be a factor.
McCoy with Remo next to him. Get that Southern rushing attack going. Spread it out 4 wide. On first. Swing pass. Morris is hit hard and incomplete. Actually, Harris was the receiver in the pattern, and there was a big hit by the quarterback, too. That draws the flag.
Personal foul, roughing the passer, defense number 4. Hit to the head, 15-yard penalty, an automatic first down.
So Bryce Cage is called. They said hit to the head, but no targeting.
And it looked like he followed through with the hands, and yes, that's exactly what he ended up doing on Cameron McCoy in the pocket.
Second 15-yard penalty on Cage.
It's big because it extends it doesn't extend the drive, gives them a huge chunk play, and this is not an offense that's been geared towards picking up big chunks, but they've had it multiple times, and the last time we saw a late hit or a personal foul on Bryce Cage, it led to their touchdown.
That all 4 penalties for Grambling have been 15-yard penalties. Remo with a crease. Remo takes a hit. Does not go down. Remo races. Remo scores. A Remo renaissance in New Orleans.
It's a fired-up Jaguars sideline because this rushing attack that they've leaned into paying dividends early in the second half. Barry Remo became the lead back when Trey Holly had to leave the lineup with an injury multiple games ago. We're seeing the combustibility in the open field.
51 yards, had just 4 yards before that carry. And all of a sudden, it's just a 3-point game. The rivalry between Grambling and Southern.
Bryce Cage flew into the backfield, and he almost took the handoff from the Southern offense. Didn't quite get there in time to make it happen. So as he got the handoff, Barry Remo was in the open field. Look at the blocking up front by the offensive line, and then the jump cut with Remo going back door. Multiple Tigers with a chance to take him down, but Barry Remo refused to be denied.
You're in good hands. Battle of the Bands at halftime. Epic. What's going on, Lewis?
Hey, that epic run by Barry Remo is what's happening. 51 yards. He was telling us earlier this week he's from Baton Rouge and his family has come to almost every Bayou Classic. He reminded us that his first cousin Willie Miles played for Southern, and it means the world to him to be able to play for his family and to play for Southern. His dad is here. He's a truck driver. His grandparents are here as well. And just the second time seeing someone in their family play here, and it means the world to him. That's a great story.
Absolutely. What this rivalry is all about, family affair. Sometimes families divided. At least that one's united in celebrating Remo. By the way, Willie Miles was quite a character, a big guy, interior defensive lineman for the Jags. This return by Johnson gets a little space. And Grambling's had great starting field position all game long, and that continues here in the second half.
And that kick return game for Grambling, giving them excellent field position. Just to put a period on the end of that Barry Remo sentence, not only being cousins with Willie Miles, but him at this point in his career, still a sophomore, but emerging. He had a career high in carries and yards in that previous game against Texas Southern because of the fact that Trey Holly wasn't available. Talk to us about how his body did feel a bit more beat up afterwards, but had all the faith in the world in Fred McNair and what this offense can continue to become.
It's been a great effort for a team with just one win this season, but you could just tell from talking to players and coaches coming in, the energy was not lacking. And of course, why not? A rivalry that could make a season. Cruz runs into a wall. Just a 1-yard pickup on first down.
It's intriguing when you compare the two offenses because Southern's passing attack has struggled and been inconsistent throughout the year. Grambling State's rushing attack has struggled and been inconsistent throughout the year. So that left hand, the off-speed pitch of one of these teams will need to emerge, and that'll end up leading them to the best opportunity at a win.
For Grambling, trying to get a win for the first time at the Bayou Classic since 2021. Andre Cruz to midfield. Southern's won the last 3 and 6 of the last 7. The overall series, 27-24, favors Southern. Of course, these teams started meeting before it was the event of the Bayou Classic. So you go all the way back 93 years. Started in 1932. Southern leads that series 42-34. Third down, 4 to go from right around midfield. Come back around, looking for the football. Patrick Williams, receiver, moved to tight end, picks up the first down.
Love the rhythm and timing of that particular play. That's a big moment on a third down. As soon as Hayden Benoit hit that back foot, he knew exactly where he wanted to go with the football. used a bit of eye discipline to manipulate the secondary as well before he fit the football in.
Monroe, Louisiana, the hometown of Williams. Came here from Arizona State. From the 44. Snap. Run, 39-yard line. Hear the hard hitting down there. Southern trying to get back into this game defensively. Landon Carter on the tackle.
It's their emergency quarterback they're handing the football to there as well. I need to be a little careful with how frequently Byron Eaton gets the rock. But he's had a big role in this offense throughout the year. This shows the faith they have in him.
Yeah, fourth-string quarterback is starting the game, so fifth string is Eaton. If anything happened to Benoit, and look out, down he goes. What a game it's been for Jamarlo Campbell. We've called his name a bunch.
One of the leading tacklers on the team, the 51 coming in. Being able to get him going into the backfield, the way he times things up, you can tell the offensive line still doesn't have a bead on when Campbell's going to work his way downhill. Grayson LaFleur's had some nice blitzes coming from the second level as well.
Third down here. This is a chance for Southern to really establish control of the game. When they get off the field, they blitz Benoit. Freshman escapes and runs. He slides shy of the sticks. It's when you begin the slide, and that's going to be shy of the 35-yard line. It'll be the 37 is where he's spotted.
It's a great observation on your part, partner, and well spotted by the officiating crew. Devin looking like they may attempt to go for this 4th and short. It's in plus territory.
Timeout. Grambling. First charge timeout of the half. This will be a 30-second timeout.
You use a second half timeout to consider it. It raises the stakes of the importance of this play, but clearly a great spot on the slide, shy of the 35-yard line.
And that's one of those scenarios that a freshman quarterback will eventually learn from, because if you slide head first, that gives you an opportunity to get the full regard of the yards you would pick up. And it's become more prevalent for coaching staffs on offense to coach the quarterback to slide head first, one, because it does protect you in a different way. When you slide feet first, your whole upper body is exposed to a collision from an oncoming tackler, and as we saw evidence right there, the reason it's 4th down because they will call the play dead as soon as you begin to slide.
It's almost ironic because you think the slide is there to protect you, but a lot of times the feet first slide exposes you to a bigger hit.
Exactly.
4th down and 2. Offense stays on. Eaton, the running back. Instead, it's Benoit. He has space. Will he run? Yes, he does, and he has the first down. Aiden Benoit, just his 3rd career start, has Grambling on the move.
I like this play call from the Tigers. Nice little change up, a run pass option where Hayden Benoit certainly had the potential to throw the football down the field, and even having that threat of the pass allowed him the edge on the Jags defense.
Just a 3-point margin. Grambling's led most of the way. Wide snap, screen. George tunnels, stays up. What a juke! Deeks outside and is inside the 10-yard line. That was all George all day for Grambling.
This tunnel screen, when you get blockers in the open field, to cut it back against the grain is precisely how it's designed. All it takes is that one missed tackle, and then advantage goes to a slick ball carrier.
Benoit keeps. He wants to run. Maneuvers back inside, and he's inside the 5-yard line.
You could tell from that conversation Mickey Joseph had with Lewis Johnson going into the half. I referenced it earlier. Mickey Joseph said he's done treating Hayden Benoit like a freshman. He's been in the lineup for several games now. There's an expectation he has for this entire football team to lean into each other, to have faith in their ability to execute this 18-year-old getting it done.
Matching the jersey number with age. Coach Joseph says there is no change to the playbook. All quarterbacks have to execute all the plays. That time it's a running back who executes, Andre Cruz. And Grambling State fires right back. What a drive.
The great response drive for Grambling. They operated well with the pass and the run, attacking both the longitude and the latitude of this Southern defense.
Wide side of the field, and then up and down vertically as well. Line drive, extra point is good. 24-14. Grambling State bounces their lead back up to 10. Andre Cruz, that's his first rushing touchdown of the season. Reestablished a 10-point lead, and it was Andre Cruz from the doorstep getting in. Had 16 carries in the most recent game, the loss of all four. But Coach Mickey Joseph said he is starting to come along. A talented guy, two-time high school player of the year in Chicago. Now making his imprint late in the season for Grambling.
Can't help but hear Marv Albert's voice in my head when I hear the round ball rock.
I
just got lost in that for a moment.
It's great.
But yes, Andre Cruz has been really good today.
Marv Albert good. Let's go to Lewis.
Chris, thanks very much. Well, Procter & Gamble has always had an important imprint on this game, and I'm standing here with Leela Coffey, who is the Vice President of Multicultural Business Acceleration. It's great to see you. Happy Thanksgiving. And I want you to tell me about this HBCYOU. What is that program, and how is it different than other programs that people use?
Yeah, that is a great question. And really what makes our HBCU-YOU program some sort of economic need. So it takes a big support system to get a student from freshman year through to graduation, and Procter & Gamble is very proud and honored to be a part of that.
Awesome. That is important work. Thank you so much for sharing that with us, and again, happy holidays to you.
Thank you. You as well.
All righty. Chris?
All right, thank you so much. Always great to have Procter & Gamble with us. Big part of the Bayou Classic year after year.
Very fitting way that she phrased that, to deserving students as well. Everyone's earning what they're getting in these situations.
And I also like the acronym, the HBCYOU. Yeah, I like that. That's a good little touch.
Southern needs to earn this conversion on third down if they can get it. I don't think this is a good field position to potentially attempt a fourth down, even if it's going to be a fourth and short.
0 for 7 on third downs. McCoy to the air, needs to get rid of it off the back foot, and incomplete. Had 3 Tigers right in his way. And holds his arm, his left arm, as he gets up. That elbow.
Well, Grambling decided to squat at the sticks there with the knowledge that in man coverage, Southern hasn't had any success throwing the football over their heads. So whether it was the pass into the flat or any intermediate throws, from a defensive back perspective, they went man coverage and heated up the pocket.
Not much movement at all for Southern on that drive, and Pham punts. Franklin, one of the rare times he's had room, but it could come back. Penalty flag down, back near where he caught it.
One of the better punts of the day to have the potential to shift the field position.
So McCoy heading to the medical
Illegal
tent.
block in the back on the return team, number 29. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down. Timeout on the field.
So McCoy went into the tent. Strother was there earlier on, but Coach McNair said he's good to go. So that's the quarterback picture for Southern, as Grambling has the football coming up next. Yeah, this was yesterday, right around this Superdome. Greek step show and all that it includes. Space Jam a theme.
Is that Lewis
in New
up
Orleans.
there? Where's Lewis?
The year, and with their coaching opening, reports this weekend surfaced that Marshall Faulk, New Orleans native, expected to be named the head coach going forward for Southern. Now, no official word yet from the Jaguar side of things, but widely reported Marshall Faulk, Hall of Fame running back, who right now is the running backs coach at Colorado, and reportedly expected to take over here at Southern. And boy, what a jolt that would be, or could be. Early movement before first down. Grambling State with the football. One of the rare times they're starting a drive inside the 30.
Outside, defense, number 91. Number 91 was in the neutral zone. Caused the offensive player to react. 5-yard penalty, first down.
All right, so they get the defense for the first movement. So going back to Southern, and again, Marshall Faulk reportedly to become the next head coach at Southern. No official word yet from the Jaguars. But that's a guy with a resume, continues the trend of high-profile former NFL players going to HBCU programs to lead the way. Phillips up the middle, picks up the first down.
And, of course, this Southern job opening, a really high-profile job in Division I football. And Marshall Faulk, the resume is exemplary, not only what he's done at the collegiate level, Heisman Trophy runner-up, but like you mentioned, Chris, Pro Football Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, and perhaps as importantly as anything, being a guy born right here in the Bayou, a New Orleans native.
Bring that kind of energy to this team. Again, first year as a coach, assistant under Coach Prime, who, of course, had his time at Jackson State before he took the Colorado job. See what that energy can be when it is successful. There's been plenty of examples over the last few years. Whether you talk about Michael Vick, Eddie George, Deshaun Jackson. But that's in the future for Southern. Right now, their focus isn't on this game. But they get another defensive stop. Low snap. Benoit throws low and incomplete. And while you look to the future for Southern, you do have to credit the job that Fred McNair has done, somebody who's been in this conference for such a long time. His legendary playing career at Alcorn State, great player in the Arena Football League, but he has kept this ship moving in the right direction during the back half of a season that could have gone off the rails.
One of the things that was more surprising about the 1-6 start that led to Terrence Graves losing his leadership of the Southern program, because he had a deep coaching staff as well. Fred McNair working with the quarterbacks, then taking over as offensive coordinator, and eventually becoming the interim head coach.
Third down. And Benoit to run again, but this time he is surrounded by Jaguars. Fourth down, and the punt unit coming on for Grambling.
It's continued to become increasingly competitive with various coaching jobs. You referenced earlier, Chris, all throughout college football, you're seeing the way that dropped it, taking a huge hit out of bounds on the Grambling sideline. He had to go to the injury tent to get checked out. And here recently, Cameron McCoy in the pocket, taking some big hits as well. He's holding that elbow. Lewis Johnson reporting he has come out of the medical tent, checking on that left elbow as well. And here he comes.
He's
trotting back onto the offense for the Jaguars.
Big question of the toughness. And right now, shadow of his own goalpost. Inside the Superdome at the 1-yard line. Southern down 10. Asbury in at running back. He gets the carry and crawls ahead to get some breathing room. We're inside of 4:30 left in the third quarter. Southern scored the first touchdown of this frame to pull within 3 points, and then Grambling countered right back with a touchdown of their own.
Amari and Asbury, one of the bigger backs that they have, a freshman, but well over 200 pounds. Theoretically, you get a guy with some physicality. If they do get penetration, he can still fight his way out of the end zone.
Both quarterbacks struggling passing numbers. To the air here, sidearm throw, and it's there. Cam Jefferson makes the catch.
That's the best ball of the day from Cam McCoy. I mean, in the pocket with a hole shot. Just a slight movement, rolling the pocket ever so gently, and then between the second and third level of the defense.
Ball hung in the air and up to get there. And then Asbury follows it up with a 7-yard push.
And now it looks like Southern's looking to go with a bit of tempo as they've gotten away from the goal line here.
Officials timeout. Equipment.
I got to get those chains right.
Got to get it.
About the NFL level, we don't really see the. We don't even see in college anymore the measurement. It was. Have you done a game? When's the last time you done a game where they brought the chains out?
Oh, it's been a minute. That's true. That's a good point.
Like even in college, I know the NFL did their new thing with the Hawkeye technology, but in college, like you don't see them measure anymore.
Especially CGI, that Hawkeye technology. I don't know. I don't trust it. All this AI everywhere. Not sure if I'm buying it.
Always skeptical.
I'm just wired that way, Chris. You know me long enough now.
Yeah, I've done the whole year this year. I can't recall one time seeing the chains come out.
Same. When they spotted the ball on the previous first down, it looked like they had the 10 yards between the beginning and the end of the chain correct, but the actual first down where the ball was being spotted, there was some indecision there on where the actual placement of that first down was going to be.
Chains are correct.
All right.
Well,
all set. Good to go.
They're in process of becoming correct. I think we're there now. I think we're good.
With human error.
Threw off the tempo Southern was wanting to go with, though.
Yeah, after all that, 2nd and 3. Grambling State's defense gets a chance to catch their breath. Asbury, who's been the hammer on this drive, first down.
I like the verticality that he attacks things with. It's kind of a one-cut back, slashes into the hole, and then just drives forward, plunging through the line of scrimmage. It's not a big play waiting to happen, but every time he's touched the rock, there's positive things happening for the Jazz.
First half without a lot of positive plays offensively, especially in the ground game. Asbury again. And again, he was contacted at the line of scrimmage and still was able to push it forward.
And at this point, the edge of the GSU defense is really honoring the legs of Cameron McCoy. So that slow play, when you see the edge defender, he keeps his shoulders square and just sort of shuffles with the pile as it moves away on the handoff. So it should set up a cutback lane after the running back presses the hole.
On 2nd and 8. Clearly a draw. And McCoy about 5 yards shy of first down yardage. Troy Morgan wants you to know he made the tackle. Said hi to the camera.
And Jason Rollins, the defensive coordinator for Grambling State, he's just sort of biding his time with the defense because Southern hasn't shown an ability to really threaten them with the vertical pass. So they've rolled up more and more in man coverage, just condensing the space between the defensive backs and the wide receivers.
Jason Rollins, you mentioned him. His wife is a Southern alum. He's the defensive coordinator for Grambling. Far side fade ball, deflected away. Tyrell Raby in coverage, trying to get it to Harris. So yeah, Jason Rollins will like that defensively as his defense gets off the field.
A lot of trust going man coverage on the outside. Jason Rollins has been one of the guys who's been an interim coach in this Bayou Classic, did so on the opposing sideline when it was his time.
His wife and son currently going to Southern, wife a Southern alum, and he told us they're not on speaking terms this week.
Still in Baton Rouge, and this is the way the communication sounds. He'll call, he'll say, good morning, you know what week it is, have a good day. And in the evening, it's good night, and that's it. And you know how fathers and sons are, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to sports, Coach Rollins said, my son Tyler better not call me this week. But they'll reconnect after the game is over.
There's really no better example of what this rivalry is all about than that. Thanks, Lewis.
Man. Something to look forward to. Reconnect with the immediate family, with the wife and the son after the results of this game.
And of course, Rollins was the interim head coach for Southern back in 2021 at the Bayou Classic. Second down throw is off the fingertips of Jones and incomplete. 3rd and 8 coming up.
I thought that was a good ball from Hayden Benoit. Certainly not an easy catch for Keith Jones, but a grab he's more than capable of making. But it does strike me that Hayden Benoit has become really decisive as the games move forward. There was one interception late in the second quarter, but he knows where he wants to go with the ball.
What do you think it's like as a quarterback playing for Mickey Joseph?
Intense.
Yes.
Let's go with that. It's intense.
A lot of information, a lot of the time. They're down. Benoit check down. Does he have enough space for the first? No. Cruz stopped. And that will be the final play of the third.
That is the end of the third quarter.
Aaron Mahoney-Bean making sure he's okay. We'll have a quarter break to look at him. 4 fingers in the air. The final frame of the 52nd annual Bayou Classic coming up. It's a game that's been full of big plays and highlight moments. But now Bayou Classic legends will be made in the final frame at the Superdome. Who have built these programs and made this game everything that it means. Buck Buchanan, one of the Hall of Famers representing Grambling, but there's both sides who have some great players who have played for these programs. Willie Davis, you got Charlie Joyner, Hall of Fame class of '96. He gets a Southern side. Mel Blunt, Harold Carmichael, highlight receiver for the Philadelphia Eagles. Plenty more as well. That's all we have time for.
There's so many great players, all-time figures that have come through not only these institutions, but black college football in general. One of the things that Doug Williams, who we saw on camera a little bit earlier, he also started the Black College Football Hall of Fame himself. James Shaq Harris, two of the all-time greats, two of the pioneers of the position.
You have Grambling, 27 SWAC titles, Southern with 19. These are historic programs. Morris is back to return for Southern calls fair catch. 25-yard line. So you have the legends, and not to mention the legendary coaches we didn't show there. I mean, you can't do this game without mentioning Pete Richardson, Eddie Robinson, what they've meant, and how they've helped build this game to what it is today.
one of the great joys of my time in college football, playing at the University of Iowa. We played in the Eddie Robinson Classic, kicking off the season at Arrowhead Stadium against Kansas State. Got to meet Coach Rob going out for the opening coin toss.
I mean, I just got to read, because in case you don't know, I mean, these guys these days, you don't necessarily know your history in that way. 56 years Eddie Robinson is the head coach at Grambling. 400 wins. Hall of Famer. This incredible man. Deep ball. Wow, Jefferson makes the catch. Dives at the 25.
Jaguars needed a chunk play. They had to have it. Cam McCoy downtown to Cam Jefferson, able to evacuate the pocket just long enough to create the window for the deep shot. Jefferson going down to get it.
A 50-yard bomb, and you wonder, where has that been all afternoon? More than double their passing yards. This is a rushing attack for Trey Holly. And then a flag down, and they get him by the face mask.
A flag, and another flag, and then a flag after that.
Yeah, there's at least three.
Face mask on the defense, number 43. Half the distance to the goal. Automatic. First down.
I mentioned the way that it would set up the jump cut for a running back, and Trey Holly is certainly experienced and explosive enough to take advantage of that. Legs of Cameron McCoy showing themselves able to impact things in multiple ways.
And then Marshall with the penalty. He missed the first 4 games of the season. Shreveport, Louisiana product. Came back and, of course, has been a big part of this defense ever since.
Darren Morris set up for a one-on-one matchup to the short side of the field, bottom of your screen.
A lot of movement at the line, but it leads to a crease. Trey Holly, touchdown Southern. Wide open crease. Trey means 3, but Trey has 2. At Southern. Good amount of them dancing, but how about, yeah.
What's going on with this guy, right? Everybody else around him is vibing, is in the moment. He's somehow on his phone. Who's he trying to talk to with all that brass happening around him?
Even during the break, he was on speakerphone. Trying to, I know from experience, it's speakerphone inside the dome.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going
Nobody
to.
can hear you, and you can't hear them, sir. It's not happening.
Call me back later. Wait till after. We still got 11:45 to go here in the 4th quarter. 3rd down, 4 to go. Side arm sling to the sideline is there. C.J. Knighton. In his 3rd Bayou Classic, a first down.
When we talked to C.J. Knighton during the week, he referenced to us the relationship that's developed between he and Hayden Benoit, the trust that he has in the young quarterback, and even the role he's tried to play in preparing him for this stage, this opportunity the program has in the Bayou Classic. Providus Knighton, he has yet to win on this field in this game. He wants it back.
Grambling hasn't won since 2021, before Knighton arrived. Drews. Yeah, this is Grambling's best chance to do it. First winning season since 2019. It's their most wins in a year since going 11-2 back in 2017. They've won 4 of their last 5. Their loss was last time out against Alcorn State, the game in which they had a handful of suspensions, 18 of them from the fight the week before, but just highlights what Mickey Joseph has done. He said, who else is doing this with a fourth-string quarterback? All the adversity that they've had throughout the year to keep the standard where it is, impressive. Benoit floated out there, and that was dangerous. Andrew Fraser was the intended receiver. Remember, he had the big 70-yard completion in the first half.
Haven't seen a double move yet, frankly, from either passing attack in this game. Part of that is because pass protection normally really needs to be sound when you're going to do a double move, but it does feel like the Grambling offense has the Southern secondary set up for some sort of a bench route or a pump and go.
Could be the down to do it too. Coming out 3rd and 6, you fake the comeback to the sticks, see if you can get a big play. Before all that, a whistle. Don't see a penalty marker.
Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 10 minutes and 10 seconds. Thank you.
They were efficient. They did it while he was talking.
Yeah, they knew they messed up.
Yeah.
They're like, we're all over it. My 8-year-old son, he'll do that every once in a while. He'll hear me say his name real quick, and he's already corrected what he knows I was about to say to him.
Learn quickly. Key play in this game. 3rd down, borderline field goal, really not field goal range. This is the 4-down territory area of the field. So 2 plays, you're running on 1st, or 3rd down I should say, and Cruz gets stopped. So the first of 2 plays is stuffed. What a great job by Jerome Wallace to cut that one down. And that makes it a little bit more of a choice here for Mickey Joseph on 4th.
You call that play on 3rd down. The hope offensively is that you'll pick up enough yardage to really have a decision to make, to go for a 4th and short or attempt the lengthy field goal. Now really not much choice available to Mickey Joseph.
He's going to go with the field goal. Josh McCormick. This one would be from 51. Long-range kicker. Made the game winner against Jackson State. Clean snap, kick up. Oh, yeah! Josh McCormick from Austin, Texas shines to make it a 6-point game.
First attempt of the season from 50-plus for Josh McCormick. All phases of the game responding for the Tigers. Big stage to have your first attempt from that distance. Josh McCormick is true.
Had plenty left on it. Mickey Joseph told us he has the 2 kickers, Caballero and McCormick, and it's up to them to communicate, okay, which one do you think I can make this one, or you think this is a kick for you? And then they go to coach, and coach says, all right, if I put you out there, you better make it. And you know the standard that Mickey Joseph has. Right. If you miss it, you're going to have a problem.
That's a lot of trust to have in your specialists for them to work it out amongst themselves on occasion. Now, it does still keep it as a 1-score game, but of course, the margin now beyond where a field goal can give Southern the tie or the lead. Big kick for McCormick.
Just adds to the drama. There is McCormick. It was Garrett Urban in 2021, Grambling State's kicker, that won the MVP. There's their rushing attack. Holly, Remo, Asbury, they've all had their moments.
But a nice day on the ground for the Jaguars against the number 3 run defense in the Southwestern Athletic Conference, but they've been stubborn with the ground attack.
From the 25, Remo, big hole, and Remo in the plus territory. Barry Remo, who had over 100 yards in the last game in relief of Holly, does it again.
The tempo shown here by the Jags.
They get it to Remo once more. Doesn't go down easy to the outside. Remo is special, and Southern suddenly with a chance to go in front.
The Jags right now displacing the line of scrimmage at a level that they just weren't in the first half of this game. They are moving Tigers against their will, especially inside.
Yeah, Remo approaching 100 yards. The one-win Jaguars, a chance to make their season at the Bayou Classic. Left side of the line, Jaron Lewis.
Full start. Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
On the inside, Chris, on that long run from Barry Remo, let's just watch the left guard work right here. He's going to be able to wheel out the defensive line, just using the momentum of that of the Tigers defensive front. Monsanto, as he's trying to get up the field, then I really love the way that he just kind of wheeled him out of the hole. That created a cavernous run lane.
And he is over the 100-yard mark, so back-to-back games over the century mark. Left side ball might have popped out, but Holly gets back on top of it. That was your life flashing before your eyes type moment with your team rolling.
Well, it just shows the effort that's on display in the game, Chris, because we've seen series after series where it looks like one team has made a big play, seizing momentum, and the other team just continues to fight. Jacoby Scott gets that hand in there to poke the ball away.
Southern fortunate to keep possession. Ball at the 34. To the air goes McCoy. Seam ball on target. Touchdown Southern. They tied it with a chance to go in front with the extra point. Khalil Harris from 34 away.
The stoic Fred McNair. It's a passing attack for the Jaguars that has been inconsistent throughout the day. Cam McCoy couldn't have gone out and handed the ball to Khalil Harris any more accurately than this touchdown toss.
Perhaps his best throw of the afternoon. Southern has the lead. Incredible.
Chris, you need a quarterback that can make plays, whether on the move or in the pocket. This time it's Cam McCoy standing tall, delivering to put 6 on the board for the Jags.
At a bigger moment. Fourth quarter of the Bayou Classic to give Southern their first lead of the game. And over the last couple of minutes, hasn't stopped getting love from his teammates. And meanwhile, you have Southern, 1 win all year. They've lost 9 straight games. They have an interim head coach in Fred McNair. But boy, is this team fighting in the rivalry matchup.
That fight has been there for the Jaguars throughout the season. Certainly been key moments, critical decisions, execution not going their way consistently.
Similar kick that we saw from Pham earlier on, and this one goes out of bounds. So great field position for Grambling coming up down for the first time. But let's take a look at that last Southern touchdown.
Well, as you count it from outside in as a defender, Chris, Khalil Harris is the number 3 receiver on the inside of the formation. So trips to the wide side of the field. There's a lot of space for for the defenders to have to cover. And the pass has to be perfect because you got the boundary side corner that can converge. And Patrick Marshall is in pretty good position, but the outstretched hands not able to outdo the accuracy of that pass from Cam McCoy.
That was accurate. Maybe the best throw that McCoy has had all game.
There's so many players, Chris, who've been on each of these sidelines, coaches who've been on each of these sidelines. Khalil Harris, Grambling State transfer.
Meanwhile, Grambling State, this is a situation they've been in before. Down in the fourth quarter. How about that? Most by any team in Division I this year. 5 fourth-quarter comebacks. And they do it with their fourth-string quarterback. Benoit to the outside. Yes, sir. Completion to begin the drive and a Grambling first down. That's Tyson George.
We referenced, as AT said earlier, the opening game starter got hurt against Jackson State. Then Ashton Fry was in the lineup. He gets hurt against Texas Southern. Armine Derensburg injured as well, ACL injury. And here we are.
Officials timeout for an injured player.
With Hayden Benoit in the lineup.
George, who made the catch, has to be assisted to the sideline. Lower leg.
It's been situationally really effective when they've called Hayden Benoit into some movement. You see very quickly Tyson George signals over to the sideline looking for assistance.
Timeout on the field. Southern. First charge timeout of the half. Should be a 30-second timeout. 30 seconds.
In a close game, every timeout crucial. Southern uses one defensively with 6:39 left. Southern down by a couple of possessions at times, multiple times in this game, but they've had the big plays in the second half to climb right back in this.
It's been happening throughout the game. That stubbornness with the ground attack has paid dividends on offense, rushing the football. Barry Remo out the gate to put a touchdown on the board in the legs of Cam McCoy, even just to extend the play and set up throwing windows for the chunk pass. Trey Holly back in the lineup, one of the leading rushers in the SWAC, making big things happen. The best pass of the day so far for Cam McCoy gave the Jags the lead.
Southern, after a slow start running the football, they have over 200 yards on the ground in this game. To your point, those big plays. After the timeout, first down run, Cruz. He stays up, and the assistance of the offensive line moves the pile towards the sticks. They'll roll it a yard shy of the first.
Love to see that with the offensive line running behind, assisting the running back to continue to gain yards. What that does set up, though, is the potential for second or third defenders to come in trying to take the football away. That's why Andre Cruz has it covered up with both hands in that mass of humanity.
Kenneth Boston was the one for Grambling who kept that pile moving, the offensive lineman, who's 6'9", 375. Cruz, they needed one, did they get one? Yeah, how about you bring in your 375-pound freshman to help move that pile? 6'9", that is a mountain.
That's a lot of young man that's there playing the offensive line for the Tigers.
On the other side, 375-pound Jaden Rogers. Heavyweight on heavyweight. First and 10. Cruz, left side, stood up, and second effort doesn't work that time. Horatio Johnson. Him and Herman Brister, the two safeties, thought to be the strength for Southern this year. They battle injuries throughout the year, and as soon as you say it, Johnson hobbles off.
And I'm going to blame you for that one, Chris.
Yeah, that's from the booth. Okay, but if I would have said he's never been injured and walked up, I'd be blamed too.
Yes, well, at least by me. Yeah. I can't say what America would do, but yes, I would blame you for that as well. Andre Cruz
goes both ways.
Cruz got a little bit anxious on that previous carry. It looked like there was a cutback lane if he pressed the hole.
From the 43, flat pattern, Eaton Remember, he is the number 2 quarterback in this game. If anything were to happen to Benoit, they've also used him as his usual position, tailback. And that sets up a 3rd down and medium distance with 4:30 left at the Bayou Classic.
And all that list of quarterbacks that I ran through earlier. So now the QB meeting room basically has Hayden Benoit and another freshman, Isaiah Coleman, who hasn't had any playing time yet.
McCormick made a field goal of 50-plus yards on the last score for Grambling, trying to get them closer. 3rd down, corner route, no, it's incomplete. C.J. Knighton, who's the tight end, it was too tall for him, and now on 4th down, Anthony, I have to imagine that offense stays on.
I certainly believe it should. You're well into plus territory on the 37.
Oh, wow, McCormick is coming out. Interesting. So how about this? With the ball at the 37. So it would be from 54.
He didn't have a lot of yardage to spare on that previous field goal he made.
54 for the lead. High snap. McCormick drills it. But wide. And no good. And Southern holds a 1-point lead, but there is a flag down by the line of scrimmage. So we'll check that.
The G-men seem to believe this will be going against the Jags.
Running into the kicker on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Results in a 1st down.
Stunning. And we talked about the ill-timed penalties for Southern. Doesn't get much bigger than that.
It's just the latest example of it. And that plant leg on the follow-through, the officials will call that every time. It's to protect the kicker.
That last foul was on number 23.
And Landon Carter.
And Carter knew it. As soon as he followed through, he was looking to see whether or not a flag was going to be thrown.
New life for Grambling as they get to the 30. Now strategy here. How much do you trust your kicker if you're Grambling? How much closer do you need to get? You're Southern. When do you start to use timeouts on their side of the football?
Josh McCormick has had a couple of significant misses earlier in the season. He struck the ball well in this 2nd half. Nearly made that one from 54 a moment ago. But I believe the initial thought for the GSU offense should be putting the ball in the end zone.
No team in Division I has had more 4th quarter comebacks this season than Grambling. Looking for number 6. With just over 3 minutes left. Benoit, play action. He's pressure. Hit as he throws. It's an air ball. Oh, it hits the helmet and lands on the carpet. Incomplete. Michael Jones, it hit his head, and he lost it in the stadium lights. Just when you thought you've seen it all.
They brought the additional pressure. It's one of the most blitz-happy defenses in the conference. And I swear someone put helium in this football, Chris, because it was in the Superdome air forever. Doinks right off the helmet. Incredible.
Doink. He never saw it. 3rd down. They keep it on the ground. Cruz stop 26. So with 4th down, they kicked from 54. Of course, you're going to kick it here with McCormick. And the clock will wind. This will have to be before the 2-minute timeout. Each team with 2 timeouts to go. Another one for the lead. This will be from 43.
You know he's got the leg for it.
Graduate from Austin, Texas. 43 in the lead. Clean snap, good hold. Kick wide. It doesn't turn. Devastating for Grambling State.
In a one-win season for Southern up to this point, with the longest losing skid in the history of their program, they sit here now with a lead late in the fourth quarter of the Bayou Classic to give some solace in reshaping the image of the season that they're in the midst of.
Boy, that one started left and just kept going left. Did not have any bend to it. And how about Fred McNair and what this game can do? The emotions of it. Interim head coach has his team in position, but they have to close the door. There's 2 timeouts and the 2-minute timeout still to go. Barry Remo run first down, nothing. In fact, a loss on the play. And there's the first.
Timeout. Grambling. First charge timeout of the half. Game clock operator, please reset the game clock to 2 minutes and 13 seconds. 2-1-3. Thank you.
All right, we highlight this game as being more than a game. It's an event. From the fans, to the bands, to the food, to the black culture, to the New Orleans culture. Everything that it encapsulates. Well, now you have a tightly contested game with a one-win Southern team that's about a first down away from a win that can make what would be a 2-win season feel like a success.
It's one of the historic rivalries in intercollegiate athletics, and this opportunity for Southern to punctuate their season, such a disappointing season that they've had in a wide variety of ways, be it injury, coaching fire, losing skids.
Correction, Grambling has one timeout remaining. One timeout remaining.
But certainly a chance here to leave this season victorious.
Holly in, 2nd and 12. Holds it close to him. The guards go right into the backfield, and he maybe pushes for a yard. Second timeout, Grambling State are making it their 3rd and final.
Timeout. Grambling, the 3rd and final timeout of the game. To be a 30-second timeout.
Second timeout called in the drive. Member of the offensive line, Jaron Lewis, slow to get up for Southern. All right, so you have a 3rd down. You run it, it goes down to the 2. You throw it, you trust McCoy to do it. He had that dagger of a throw. Remember to take the lead with that touchdown strike decisions if you're an offensive play caller.
Well, the clock will stop after the summation of 3rd down either way,
yes,
because you have the 2-minute timeout incoming. And Grambling has already exhausted all 3 of their timeouts, so I do believe that aggression would be fitting.
So let me follow up. Should Grambling have waited to call their timeout? Should they have let that go to the 2-minute?
I don't believe so because of the college rules. You know, it could go either way from a decision perspective, but I believe with the college rules, if you get the ball with around 2 minutes to go, that's going to be plenty of time to still be able to convert and put points on the board.
Just like make boxing in Southern to make them more likely to run if you hold on to the timeout till after the 2-minute timeout. Regardless, 3rd down and 11. Remo to the backfield. Show blitz, play action. Thrown to the sideline, too tall. Jefferson at 5'10" could not corral it.
Who's that 4th down?
It's 4th down with 2:04 left, so likely the 2-minute timeout after the punt. And Grambling State with no timeouts will have the football, and a field goal would give them the lead.
I like the decision from Jason Rollins, Grambling's defensive coordinator. Bring some heat, force the issue on Cam McCoy to have to deliver the football quickly.
Bam. Hit or miss on punts in this game. A couple of good ones. A couple shy of 30 yards. This one's one of the better ones. And a fair catch called. 37-yard line.
Timeout on the field. 2-minute timeout.
And on the other side, the 52nd annual Bayou Classic. They've been playing this since 1974. Not many have been better than this. Grambling State football down 1 after this. Making his 3rd start as we get into our all-state quarterback comparison. And right now the game's on the shoulders of the freshman QB. But he and McCoy both have their highlights. Logan McCoy throwing the go-ahead touchdown to put Southern up 1. Grambling State football inside of the 2-minute timeout. The first down throw to the sideline. Cruz, he can't corral. Incomplete. 2nd down. So all Grambling State needs is a field goal. Trying to avoid the upset. Southern, this win would make their season. A 1-win campaign. Interim head coach Fred McNair. Would this be something to go out with, without a doubt? A 4th-string freshman quarterback, Benoit, on 2nd. In the pocket, steps up, elects to run, slides feet first. No first down, no timeouts left, so the clock moves.
I think it's important for Hayden Benoit to remember in that scenario is that the run is only beneficial, really it's most beneficial if you move the chains. Didn't get much out of that.
Southern's defense has played one of their best games this season, put in a tough position all game long, and for the most part, they've held up. Can they do on 3rd? Benoit lasers, it is caught. First down, Grambling. They get Nicholas Howard right when they need it, 1:20.
Gorgeous pass from Hayden Benoit, trailing backwards under some duress.
Clock stops until the ball reset, then it continues to move inside the 2-minute clock rules. See Josh McCormick warming up, just missed the field goal. Low throw, it incomplete, targeting the 45-yard line. And that brings up 2nd down. So McCormick, if you're just joining us, hit from 50+, his longest kick of the year, but followed that one up with a miss on the last drive for Grambling State that would have given them the lead.
With these college hash marks to this side of the field, you do have some space. Now being at the Superdome is a little bit different, the dimensions of the hash marks.
2nd down, low snap receive. Benoit wants it all. Dangerous and nearly picked. It went through the hands of Landon Carter. That would have ended it for Southern and secured a stunning win. Instead, it's 3rd down.
That was an opportunity for Landon Carter to close the show. He had a much better chance at this football than Andrew Frazier did as he whipped his head around. Just couldn't corral the football.
Late substitutions for Southern, so they'll take a timeout.
Timeout. Southern. Be their 2nd charge, timeout of the half. 30 seconds.
They still have 1 left. All right, strategy here. We've seen Grambling State with Benoit. He's been up to the task. But where do you look and how do you attack here? 3rd and 10 from midfield.
There was some indecision on the substitution there for Southern's defense, but for Grambling on offense, it's important to stay focused on the precision that's necessary. They're still right at the 50-yard line, so the defense will likely acquiesce a few yards, but the pass has to be thrown in a decisive manner, and the pass catchers have to make sure they're reeling the football in. You can almost relax a bit when you know you're going to be open. There's going to be a layup available outside the numbers. It's got to be connected on.
Third down snap. Benoit delivers. It's there, first down. Inside the 35, Nicholas Howard again on 3rd, but a flag down in the offensive backfield. And Mickey Joseph cannot believe it.
Holding, offense, number 78. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, remains 3rd down.
Could be a backbreaker, Armand Owens.
What needs to be getting communicated in the ear of Hayden Benoit is the knowledge that they don't need all the yardage on this 3rd down. Coming out of the right side of your screen, Kelby Givens with the inside move on Armand Owens. And yes, that is a hold. He had him around the thigh area, negating his ability to continue to rush.
Grambling looking for their first win at the Bayou Classic since 2021. Looked to be their best chance at it. Instead, they have a 3rd and 20. Benoit unleashes. It's caught for the first. Barron Miles when you need him. The clock will stop for the first down, then we'll reset. The clock will move again. Will they clock it or run a play? Draw a ball out, and Southern has it. Kelby Gibbons on top, of course.
Fumble recovered by Southern.
The player of the year. The Buchanan finalist from a season ago. Walker with a hit, Cruz lost it, and Southern, stunner.
Remarkable turn of events. Elation at one moment on the sensational throw and catch from their freshman quarterback. Turning at a moment's notice to disappointment. It was initially a clean handoff. For whatever reason, Andre Cruz couldn't quite corral the football directly in after the mesh point. Looked like perhaps as Benoit was pulling away, the ball just tugged away from Cruz at that last moment.
Be a 30-second timeout.
That exchange into the belly of the back. One of those things that you work on since training camp, all offseason, trying to secure the QB center exchange and the mesh point between quarterback and running back.
An unreal finish. The Bayou Classic is different. You'll talk to any coach, any player who's been a part of this event. The cliche is throw out the records, and sometimes cliches are cliches for a reason. Grambling State's best season in 6 years. One of Southern's worst seasons in program history. Their longest losing streak in school history heading in. Just one win and an interim head coach. But it is different once you get to New Orleans. Southern University wins the Bayou Classic, the 52nd annual. Go to the Jaguars.
Absolute heartbreak for the G-men. Elation for the Jags.
You know how important a garage or a shop is. It's where good things are built and broken things get fixed.